Using all the information we currently have on Chapter 30, I can honestly say Predator is very likely this time around. And no, it's not just because Alien is Chapter 29. And if that's the only reason you can think of for Predator being Chapter 30, I'd definitely stick around. Real quick for those confused, Alien and Predator are owned by the same license holder, 20th Century Studios, and in order for Dead by Daylight to have officially licensed a xenomorph into the game, they would have needed to contact and make an agreement with 20th Century, further evident by their credit in the official trailer for the Alien chapter. All that said, since Dead by Daylight already has a connection with 20th Century Studios, they wouldn't need to reach out to another company to obtain the Predator license. So, they're owned by the same company. What else makes Predator likely for Chapter 30? Well, Predator has been a highly requested chapter for a long time. I'm sure many of you watching are already aware of this, but I think it's still worth focusing on. A channel named Rareth Links, link in the description, is well known for making concepts for Dead by Daylight chapters. They made one for both Alien and Predator, the former having 1.2 million views, and the latter with just a little under 1 million. The Alien concept may have gotten more, but not by all that much, and 1 million is definitely no small number. And of course, this isn't a great way to measure exactly how much people wanted each chapter, but it does provide some valuable information regardless. With the foundations laid for why Predator is likely to enter Dead by Daylight, I will now do the same for why Chapter 30 specifically is so likely. To do so, we need to take a closer look at what we know of the upcoming chapter so far. In the 7th anniversary, aka Chapter 28 stream, we got confirmation that both Chapter 29, which turned out to be Alien, and Chapter 30 would be licensed. I'll go ahead and play the clip for those previously unaware of this. Feel free to skip ahead using timestamps if you've seen this before.
The next two killers that will follow after that are going to be licensed, and I would say licensed with a big L if I can. Really iconic additions to the game. Extremely excited to be able to talk a little bit more about that. Unfortunately, a little too early today to be able to do that. We've started to play with them a little bit internally and seeing how the characters are going to shape up, and it's pretty exciting to actually have those additions to the game.
Yes.
So more to come later this year.
Not only have they confirmed Chapter 30 is licensed, but using the roadmap they provided in that exact same clip, we can also confirm that the chapter will be a paragraph. In other words, a killer standalone chapter, with no survivors or map. Besides that, we don't know much of anything about Chapter 30, it's all up to speculation. So why am I so confident it's going to be Predator? For that, I would like to briefly bring your attention to another license, Terminator. Even though it's less wanted for Dead by Daylight than some others, there's no question a lot of people would want him in the game. And, judging by the fact it appeared on their last satisfaction survey, Behavior is well aware of that. Now, why am I bringing this up as a point to support an entirely different license for Chapter 30? Remember that this chapter was confirmed to be a killer standalone, no survivors. But if anything, wouldn't that hurt Predator's chances this time around? Anyone familiar with the license knows that there's a pretty good pick for a survivor from the first movie, Dutch. And here's where my point comes in. Dutch is acted by Arnold Schwarzenegger, though that doesn't really prove anything on its own. But let me redirect your attention to Terminator, another character many people want to see in the game, acted by none other than Arnold Schwarzenegger. My main point is that Behavior might want to save Arnold's likeness for Terminator, as although Predator may be a more desired chapter than Terminator, I can almost guarantee Terminator is a more desired character than Dutch. However, this wouldn't just be a theory without its problems. Firstly, Behavior could simply use Arnold's likeness for both characters. While we haven't exactly seen this before, it's not like we've had a chance to either. In all of Dead by Daylight's history, we haven't seen a scenario where a licensed character being brought in had the same actor as another character. So, long story short, while we haven't had any opposition to this happening, it's not like we've had anything in support of it either. Second, and also sort of in addition to the first point, is that they could simply go ahead and use Arnold's likeness for neither character, either because he asks too much money or turns them down entirely. And last but not least, it's not like Dutch is the only good pick for a survivor. In fact, I would argue Naru from Prey would also be a very good choice. In conclusion, it's definitely not a bad theory, and it would make sense for making such a big license a paragraph chapter, but simultaneously there are some holes in it. Next, a possible counter-argument against Predator coming in for Chapter 30 would be, plain and simple, that it's too soon. 20th Century Studios may want to test the waters first with Alien before going all in with Predator. That exact counter-argument brings me to my next point for why Predator is so likely for Chapter 30. While it's true they may want to wait, and I'll touch more on that later, it's not like this would be the first time having both characters come into a game in quick succession. Alien and Predator were both licensed into Fortnite in early 2021, only a month apart from each other. So since this happened before, why can't it happen again for Dead Dead by Daylight. I'm sure the Fortnite collaboration earned them lots of money, so if anything, they were given positive reinforcement to do something like this again. Just like the last point though, I would like to point out a few holes in this argument. For one, this of course isn't the only time they've introduced both characters into another game before. In Mortal Kombat X, Predator was announced to come into the game in mid-March of 2015. Then, in early December of 2015, Alien was revealed to also be coming into the game, nearly 9 months apart. If anything, this would actually support Predator coming in for the 8th anniversary of Dead by Daylight, since that'd be approximately 9 months from Chapter 29. Granted, these collaborations happened 8 years ago, with the Fortnite collaborations being much more recent, 2.5 years ago. So while they've done spaced out collaborations before, their more recent ones in Fortnite point to much less time between appearances. And lastly, I would also like to say that something like a skin in Fortnite would obviously take significantly less time to create than a Dead by Daylight chapter. Again though, this theoretical Predator chapter would be a paragraph, meaning they just need to design a killer. And it is also 3 months from Chapter 29, giving them more time. To summarize, 20th Century Studios owns the licensing rights to both Alien and Predator, making Predator much more likely now that Alien's in. We know Chapter 30 is licensed and a killer paragraph. They could be saving Arnold's likeness for Terminator, thus not wanting to do a full chapter with Dutch as a survivor, though this argument has a few holes in it. And last, 20th Century's past and particularly recent behavior aligns with them licensing both characters in quick succession, meaning a Predator chapter right after an Alien chapter would make sense. At the end of the day, I could be wrong about all of this, but I still thought these points were worth bringing to the public eye. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe as it helps me out more than you might think. For the latter, I'm planning on making another video on Chapter 30 relatively soon after this one, this time covering various other licenses possible such as Springtrap, Slenderman, and Pennywise, and subscribing would help make sure you don't miss that. Also, only 2% of the people who watch my videos are subscribed, which is pretty low, even for a statistic like this. Not only that, but I'm fairly close to 1,000 subscribers, which would help make me eligible to start putting ads in my videos. This may sound bad at first, but I promise to place them sparingly. And, though I'm not into YouTube solely for the money, I can guarantee it will motivate me to make better content more frequently. On that note, I'd just like to quickly apologize for my recent break. Even though it's nowhere near my longest, it still was substantial. I'll try my best to avoid that in the future. No promises though, I am anything but consistent. At the very least, I promise to put everything I have into each upload, no matter how spaced apart they are. Enough YouTuber junk though, I've gone on long enough. And I very much appreciate the few who've made it this far. Regardless, I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Also, I have a Discord server.